Extinction Rebellion! That's dramatic enough, isn't it? Yes, Extinction Rebellion, tired of being not in the news recently for whatever reason, decided it was time to strike back. They wanted to strike at the heart of the financial sector because we know nothing will save polar bears like smashing glass windows. So, doubtless people called Fiona and Fifi and names such as that got themselves down to that London with some very gaily painted hammers and chisels and things and smashed the windows of a rather well-known bank, Barclays Bank headquarters, to save the polar bears. And I'm not sure how many polar bears were saved by this activity. But I do know I am absolutely sick to fucking death of Extinction Rebellion. I cannot fucking abide these hypocritical middle-class wankers who descend upon our major cities, not just the capital city, it happens here in Manchester as well, doubtless driven in Daddy's fucking Range Rover, because Daddy's a hedge fund manager, who, as we know, are very good for the environment. And then they glue themselves to the floors, they smash windows. Had they stopped to think, if they don't want us using precious resources and fossil fuels, perhaps making more glass might use a bit more. Because they don't just nip to the shops and buy these panes of glass for these sort of buildings. They are made. So all the baby sands will have to die, Graham. And the gas will have to be used to melt the sands into the big glass with all the fancy laminates on there and some plastics. And as we know, seafood, they love the plastics. Ground food, not so much. Although I did have a dog that ate a plastic bag once, but I digress. Ground food, not love the plastic. Seafood, can't get fucking enough of it. But they've decided that this kind of disruption is the best way to save the planet. And I just can't help but think, if the police were so keen to smash the heads in of people that just didn't want lockdown anymore, why can't they give people committing criminal damage a crack round the head if they don't stop? I'll tell you why. Nice middle-class people don't get cracks on the head from the police very often. Common people saying they'd quite like to open up their pub or their business and go about their life. Scum that needs beating. Beating! BLM? Not that much. Not that much beating. Even when they march in uniforms, which is really fucking weird. No beatings. So just lockdown protests are the problem, basically. Oh, and women. If women get together anywhere, get the stakes out. Apart from the Extinction Rebellion women, who are the worst kind of assholes. And I'm sick and fucking tired of it now. I'm sick and tired of, well, you can't come through town today because some people have glued themselves to the fucking floor. Tarmac over the cunts. Finished. Just, or leave them. They'll move eventually. Like we've said before, the ones that stick themselves to the floor in town, if you leave them there long enough, the spiceheads will find them and the homeless. They'll never do it again, Graham. They'll never do it again. Not after a night of special attention.
Sounds fun at night.
From The Walking Dead, yes. Well, I remember when that radio station, we both had Fab Radio. The wonderful Fab Radio. FabRadioInternational.com. Got some great stuff on there. Graham had his show there, Game Face show. I went to do my show. And many an evening, it was like a scene from Land of the Dead outside of there.
I've got amazing memories of being in the building, but then coming out and you'd be like, Jesus, especially around that.
Oh, yeah. I remember that night I went to the to get the parking ticket because I got there before 8 o'clock. When at that point, I think it stopped at 8. Now I think it's all night. But you know when you get a sense that someone's near you? And he was downwind, so I didn't get a hint. And I turned around and this black fellow was obviously just spiced out of his fucking brains, was stood like here. And when I'm like, just back off, mate, he didn't. Now me, I was all right. Other people used to get attacked and mugged there all the time. Why should leave them for them? Let them ravish them. They say homeless people are hungry. Feed them middle-class people. There you go. Feed them Extinction Rebellion. But literally, we've got to put a stop to this now because they're not achieving anything good. And now they want to build a statue to Greta Thunberg. A statue to Greta Thunberg. What are they making the statue out of? What renewable resource are we going to make her statue? Corn? Oh, that's not a renewable resource. I am sorry. Soil. What are we doing? What are we making out of? Brass it'll be, won't it? Something like that. Lots of heat and energy is used to create molten metal to pour into molds. But apparently that's the thing, we're going to have one. So I can't wait to see a statue of Greta Thunberg. Ironically, the only statue that will not be vandalised during any future riots. You know, they'll go and fuck up the Winston Churchill one. They won't touch Greta's.
Sounds like a challenge, Adrian.
Hold my beer. Graham Booth, 40, fat,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
arrested because couldn't run away from the police.
Couldn't even get it down. I'm like, oh, this is harder than it looks. They get me at the perfect photo so it looks like I'm trying to shag it.